Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Great way to start the week here at Louisville Metro Hall. I hope everyone across the city had a wonderful weekend. It was another action-packed fall weekend across our city. Of course, we welcome the world once again to Louisville for the St. James Art Fair. There was also a newer art festival at Afros and Artists at the Norton Health and Learning Center that was wonderful. The Louisville Zoo is in full Halloween festivity season with Boo at the Zoo, which I would encourage people to enjoy with their families between now and the end of the month at Halloween. Valley Station had a wonderful trunk or treat this weekend. Lots of great Halloween activities all across the city to enjoy with your family. Encourage everyone to enjoy them. And in the midst of enjoyment, we're also continuing to work incredibly hard. And across Metro government, we're working incredibly hard every day to improve public safety, to make Louisville safer, and to save lives. That's been my number one priority as mayor. That's my team's number one priority all across Louisville Metro government. And thanks to our focus and hard work, we're seeing results. Shootings and homicides are down by around 25% this year. Carjackings, aggravated assaults, and robberies are all down too. Community collaborations are up, where we have our friends here from the Office of Violence Prevention working with the community, LMPD interacting with the community like never before. We are on the right track, friends, but I'm not content because there still is too much violent crime that happens in our city. We wake up too many mornings hearing about something that happened overnight, go to too many memorials for victims who were lost, for families who are suffering. And so our hard work will continue. The determination will not end to continue down this path. We know there's still a lot of work ahead of us. And that's why earlier this year, we announced Safe Louisville, my comprehensive crime reduction plan that aims to reduce violent crime by 15% year after year, every year in our city through prevention, intervention, and enforcement. And my colleagues here from Louisville Metro's Office of Violence Prevention help implement several parts of this plan. Led by Misty Wright and everyone else here, they are working hard every day to ensure we prevent violent crime from happening in the first place. And today, we're gathered to release a report that analyzes the last 3 years of effort at the Office of Violence Prevention. And today, we'll provide an update on some of our key violence intervention strategies. One great example is Pivot to Peace. Pivot to Peace gives people the resources and skills they need to get out of gang life and away from gun violence. Like I already mentioned, gun violence here in Louisville has been reduced by between 25 and 30% across the entire city. However, in areas where we've deployed the Pivot to Peace program, we've seen an over 60% reduction in gun violence in these targeted areas. And this is just one of the many strategies that our colleagues at Office of Violence Prevention are using to improve public safety. We couldn't possibly cover everything in this report today in a short time at this announcement, but to give a few more updates on what's in this report, I'd like to introduce Ashley Webb, who's the Deputy Director of Office of Violence Prevention, to give a few more insight about what's going on in this report and where we're headed from here. Ashley? Right there.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to share a little bit about the Office of Violence Prevention. And as the mayor stated, we play a key role in implementing many parts of the Safe Louisville plan, which has 3 tiers: prevention, intervention, and enforcement. First, I'm going to start off by sharing about the Pivot to Peace intervention model, which is a partnership between the Office of Violence Prevention, Goodwill, and Volunteers of America, which engages with high-risk individuals, those that have been victims of gun violence, or those that are most likely to become victims of gun violence or perpetrators of violence. We are meeting people where they're at through credible messengers that are intervening in high conflict situations before they have the ability to arise to violent events. These credible messengers are those that have lived experience. They're from the neighborhoods. They also have previous system or justice involvement themselves. These credible messengers are also engaging with high-risk individuals and connecting them to long-term case management and also resources, things such as obtaining an ID. So we are meeting people where they're at in specific locations. And as you can see, in the 4 areas that we currently have the Pivot to Peace intervention model, we are seeing a reduction in gun violence and homicides and shootings by 62%. That is more than 2 times that of the average of Louisville overall. And we are lifting a 5th site in the California neighborhood here very soon. So we are also meeting people where they are at through our hospital intervention program. This is a partnership with the University of Louisville where OVP is funding staff there in the hospital that are victims of gunshot wounds and stabbings. Last year, the hospital saw 628 patients that presented from violent acts, and 85% of those U of L staff was able to connect with and connect them to services such as mental health supports and other resources so they could navigate a positive path forward. We are also meeting people where they are at through our OVP's outreach team, many of which are with us today. These dedicated team members are highly skilled at connecting with high-risk individuals across the entire city. They are walking alongside with them for 6 to 18 months and giving them the support and connecting them to resources they need so that they can enter a better path going forward. And this is working. The recidivism rates for those individuals that outreach is working with across the city are significantly lower than that of the national average. We are accepting referrals from places such as our credible messengers, from the hospital intervention program, and we accept referrals from across the city. This includes parents. We are also doing other work inside of the Office of Violence Prevention. One of the divisions is TRC, Trauma Resilient Communities, where we are connecting people to mental health supports in those areas most impacted by gun violence. One of the ways we're doing that is through Community Sanctuary Project. And this is where after incidents of violence take place in community, we are coming together as community to heal with one another. We have mental health supports available, faith-based leadership, and 8,100 people have been present at these events. Another place inside of the Office of Violence Prevention that we are doing amazing work is through our community and youth engagement services. This is empowering communities and youth through prevention and collaboration. One of the ways we're doing that is through our anti-violence coalitions, and we're going to hear a little bit about that in just a moment. But these anti-violence coalitions are where community come together in 9 different neighborhoods across the city to create solutions for their specific neighborhoods. We have invested close to $1 million in grassroots organizations since the inception of this. So this is just a small amount of what we're doing at OVP. We encourage you to go online and look at our entire 3-year report. Additionally, we want you to be a part of this work with us. We are hosting our annual Violence Prevention Summit at the Goodwill Center on October the 24th. Please go online and register. It will be an opportunity to hear your voice. And lastly, I just want to say that OVP is committed to doing this work, but we don't do it alone. And so, Mayor, thank you for your leadership, for your support. Other city agencies, thank you. Community organizations and community members, thank you for being in this with us. We have a lot of work left to do. Now I'm going to introduce Rebecca Wells-Gonzalez from our Taylor Berry Anti-Violence Coalition to share a little bit more about our anti-violence coalitions. Rebecca.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. It's vital that you hear from community members of the neighborhoods that saw this investment. And I am a proud member of the Taylor Berry neighborhood in the south end of Louisville. I am also a proud member of the Taylor Berry Anti-Violence Coalition, and the work that we've done over the past 3 years, meeting monthly, has resulted in some amazing work in the Taylor Berry neighborhood. The Anti-Violence Coalition in Louisville in Taylorberry connected our community members together and really gave us an opportunity to focus on the neighborhood and to see what is affecting us in Taylorberry and what can we as a group do of community members and partners to help us reduce gun violence in our neighborhood. I've lived in the Taylorberry neighborhood for close to 15 years, and when we first moved in, it was difficult because we heard gunshots all the time. And when I became a mother 4 years ago almost, it was terrifying, honestly. But over the past 3 years, I can tell you that that occurrence has reduced. I haven't heard as many gunshots when I'm putting my son to bed, and that is dynamic. The AVC in Taylorberry has made a critical life-saving impact for so many families in my neighborhood. And it has built a community network of support that is unlike any I've seen before. For example, earlier this year, our AVC organized an event. It was called South End Stand-Up Day in Taylorberry, and it was at our local Taylorberry Park. Hundreds of people came out, neighbors I'd never met before. It's easier to just sit in my living room and think about things I want to do than to go out and socialize. But this gave us all an opportunity to meet together in the park and eat delicious food. My son played basketball as a 3.5-year-old and made 3 new best friends of varying ages. And they were playing on bouncy castles. And to be quite frank with you, it was amazing to socialize as an adult, as a mother, knowing that my son was playing in a place that was safe, finally. So what do we do from here, though? We need to keep this effort going. For the next year, our AVC has planned funding to continue this community network of support. We are planning monthly community dinners, open to all, using local food vendors and supporting our businesses in our neighborhood to discuss and connect with each other about what resources do we need, how can we build friendships and connections with each other, and how can we continue this dynamic work to reduce gun violence in all capacities in our neighborhood and in others. These dinners are not just about food. They're about cultivating trust and building dynamic interpersonal relationships, and they serve as a foundation for a truly safe and vibrant community. I want to thank you all for allowing me to share a bit of my experience in the Taylorberry neighborhood and for being a part of this important work. I want to thank Mayor Greenberg so much for your support in our neighborhood, and to the Office of Violence Prevention, this amazing crew of people behind me, for supporting this work. We really look forward to the community dinners in Taylorberry as an opportunity to build a neighborhood that feels safe, not just because we have reduced violence and reduced gun violence, but because we feel safe to be vulnerable, to ask for help when we need it, and to connect with the people that we are so lucky to call neighbors. I encourage you all to foster neighborhood connections in your own life. After all, you never know when a simple invitation to dinner is going to turn into something amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you, Ashley. Thanks to everyone who is involved with the Office of Violence Prevention in all of these programs. You know, their work often goes below the radar screen. After crime has been committed is when it makes the headlines, but the work that they're doing keeps those number of headlines down. And so thank you all so much. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of this work as well. Some of the programs that you just heard Ashley describing that Office of Violence Prevention does are incredible. To measure all of the results that we're doing from all these programs, we need data. And when people think about data, technology, and innovation, they might not be thinking about local government. But in my administration, we're changing that. We're finding ways to use technology and data to help guide great decisions. And that applies to crime data as well. Back in November 2023, after a year-long collaboration between OVP and LMPD, Louisville became one of the first cities in the country to launch a real-time gun violence dashboard. That dashboard is linked to the Office of Violence Prevention's website, so anyone can access and analyze up-to-date information about homicides and shootings in our community. Transparency is a critically important part of making progress to reduce violent crime in our community, to build public trust with the community so that we can enhance those collaborations you've just heard about to do even better. This dashboard has already been used by the public over 100,000 times. And so to talk more about the impact of the tool, we're joined today by Katie Appleduda, who's the Senior Director for Local Government Affairs at Everytown for Gun Safety. Everytown for Gun Safety has been an amazing partner for Louisville, working with us to identify new ways to reduce gun violence in our community. They are a leader nationally, and they are a wonderful partner for those of us here in Louisville. Please join me in welcoming Katie Appleduda. Katie?
So much, Mayor. It's so awesome to be here. And I just have to say, to see all of the standing here does so much. Like, I work in cities all across the country. And this, I think, probably more to me than anything about the investment you all are making here. Really incredible to get to share stage with all of you. So I'm here to mark 3 years of life-saving progress in the fight to end gun violence in this city. And I think we all know, and the mayor said this as well, even one life taken by gun violence is too many, and much work remains. But when cities treat gun violence like the public health crisis that it is, progress is possible. And that is absolutely what we're seeing here in Louisville and hearing about this morning. I started my career in city government working for a mayor. At the time, it was New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, and he is a man who just lives and breathes data. And something he always told us, he continues to tell us, is that you can't manage what you can't measure. And that's especially true when it comes to gun violence data, and it's even more important because of its potentially life-saving impact. Timely and accessible access to gun violence data is vital. With it, police departments, and as you heard, the police department is a huge partner in this work, and especially in developing this dashboard. But they can make better decisions about when and where to deploy officers. Community violence intervention programs, we heard mention of so many of the amazing organizations working with the OVP here, can efficiently target and evaluate their efforts. Researchers are able to take this data and identify the next generation of promising solutions that we should all be trying and learning from. And then finally, reporters, like those who are here in the room, can access the information they need with the click of a button rather than having to sort of chase down data, which is something that happens in far too many cities across this country. So thank you so much to Mayor Greenberg, to the Office of Violence Prevention. Because of your leadership, Louisville has really become a national leader when it comes to collecting and analyzing and publishing gun violence data. So as mentioned, a few years back, Louisville was selected as one of only 3 cities in the whole country to receive a Gun Violence Data Fellow, to be a part of the Gun Violence Data Fellowship Program. Through that opportunity, we got to work with Dr. Evan Benitez, who really is the person who made so much of this great work happen. And led the effort to develop that dashboard and to work with colleagues, including in the police department, to produce it. And in collaboration with Dr. Benitez, since we've created a toolkit for cities across the country so that they can replicate the success that started right here in Louisville. And if you fast forward to today, not a week goes by where I am not on email, on a call, on a Zoom with someone where I'm saying, oh, you want to see how it's really done? Check out Louisville's dashboard. And I think part of what's so amazing about it, too, is while it was launched a few years ago, you all just continue to build on it. And you hear from the community about what they need, and it just keeps growing. So Louisville's dashboard has already served as a model for other cities across the country. The clarity and accessibility of the data is helping leaders allocate resources to more effectively measure progress and more accurately, and to refine strategies in real time based on what they're seeing in the data and what they're hearing from folks on the ground in the community. So 3 years in, what we see in Louisville is real proof of concept that when local governments invest in timely, transparent data, and importantly, right, it's not just about the data, pair it with the public health approach that folks are speaking about here and that they're doing in collaboration with community, we can make measurable progress to reduce gun violence. So at Everytown, we're really proud to have supported this work, and we are committed to continuing to lift up Louisville's leadership as other cities try to replicate the success that you all are seeing right here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katie. We're always excited to be leaders here in Louisville, and this is yet another area of where we are leading as we continue to reduce crime. Thank you so much, as you just heard, to Dr. Benitez, who you'll hear from a moment, and to LMPD in particular, Deputy Chief McKinley, Chief Humphrey, the entire team at LMPD, Travis Eicher, for making this data dashboard a reality. It's taken a lot of people's focus and attention to get this data accurately and to get it onto the dashboard in a timely manner so that we can be fully transparent and it can be a good tool for us to target how we continue to implement actions to reduce violent crime in our city. As I mentioned, we're definitely on the right track, but we also have a lot of work still to do. And I'm looking forward to this work ahead of us as we continue to make progress. I want to give, Dr. Benitez, I did want to give you a special shout out as well. Also, just thank you so much. You came here started on a grant, right, when you were getting your PhD, and now to see that turn into this full-blown activity, I just want to give you a special thanks. Really appreciate everything that you have done. So a couple more announcements on this topic before we change topics. One more is one of the things that we're also doing that we are confident is going to continue this great work with Office of Violence Prevention has given you an overview of today, is we are having our first Community Safety Commission meeting. This is the group of individuals and representing organizations that are going to oversee the implementation of the Safe Louisville Plan and also the community commitment, which is Louisville's consent decree. The first meeting for the Community Safety Commission will be October 14th at 1:30 p.m. at the main branch of the Louisville Free Public Library. It's open to the public, but space there will be limited, but will also be live streamed. We're really excited to get that going. Before I end on a final topic, I just want to give one final thanks to all of my colleagues at Office of Violence Prevention. You all are doing incredible work. And as I said earlier, I know often it goes unnoticed because when you're successful, the community is safe, and there's nothing to write about. I want to give you a very hearty and thankful thanks for all the great work that you do. Please join me in thanking our Office of Violence Prevention team. Thanks, guys. I'm going to talk. You guys are good. And one more topic before we take questions from members of the media. About the federal government shutdown and the impact that actions of the federal government are having here in our city. The federal government shutdown doesn't just affect Washington, D.C. It hits everyday Americans the hardest, including families right here in Louisville. Our city is home to thousands of federal workers who dedicate themselves to public service. Many of them now face the uncertainty of missed paychecks and delayed benefits. But it doesn't stop there. Thousands more Louisvillians rely on federal programs for food, for housing, and health care. Programs that are now at risk because of the chaos in Washington. And I want to talk today about one of the clearest examples, and that's nutrition assistance. I learned last week that 900 seniors in our community were in danger of losing their meal delivery services, programs that are a lifeline for older Louisvillians and Kentuckians who are homebound, who can't get around. These programs are federally funded through the state. They end up here locally, and they turn into delivered meals for seniors every week. This isn't some distant policy issue. This is real life. This may be a person that you know, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, going hungry because politics is trumping common sense and common decency. As long as this shutdown continues, cities like Louisville will bear the brunt of Washington's dysfunction. And it's not just the shutdown. It's federal funding cuts like this one to our senior nutrition program that are happening throughout the federal administration right now. So let me be very clear. We aren't going to wait to see if someone else in Washington takes care of our own here in Louisville. When the federal government turns its backs on families, our city is going to step up to meet the moment, which is why I'm incredibly happy to announce today that we've identified local city funds to cover the cost of these senior nutrition programs through the rest of this year. These 900 seniors in Louisville will not go hungry while we work to find a long-term solution to this federal government cut. This is more than just about one program. This is about protecting the well-being of our people. And it's about showing our citizens that Louisville still works, even when the federal government doesn't. I could not let these 900 seniors in our city go hungry. Folks I talk to every day give more examples of risks that are being posed. My team and I talk every day about ways we can identify other things that the city government can do to take care of our people during these challenging times. When Washington shuts down, Louisville stands up. I'm proud that we were able to make this happen for those 900 seniors, and we will continue working hard every day to minimize the impact of the federal government shutdown. Thank you. Thank you all very much, and I'm happy to take, I know it's just a Monday, but I'm sure that members of the media have some questions already.
Funding come from that you guys are allocating?
We reallocated some funds from the Office of Social Services where we were able to use funds to make this happen through the end of the calendar year. We can get you that several $100,000. We'll get you that exact number.
In case the funding stops?
No, just to be clear, this funding, this was other federal cuts. So this was not as a result of the shutdown, but as a result of other federal funding cuts. On October 1st, the end of last week, the funding ended. So now we are making sure that those seniors never miss a delivery. They get one delivery a week of 5 meals each week. And now, as a result of giving the heads up last week, we're going to make sure that those 900 seniors don't miss a single delivery.
Is it the beginning of the year?
We're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to continue to find a way. There's a mid-year adjustment coming up from local budget. And one of the things I'm going to propose, if necessary, is to keep the funding going. We cannot let these seniors go hungry. And there's more demand than just these 900 seniors that have already been accepted to the program. There's a waiting list for this program. And so we're going to see what we can do about expanding it, given the challenging times we're living in right now.
About Safe Louisville, maybe for someone who knows the data very detailed, but you've said that homicides are down by about 25%. What's the data for juveniles? Is it down, same, up? And then are there more women victims, same, down, or up?
We can provide you all that information in terms of the specifics, how it breaks down by juveniles and by females versus men's. Do we just get that afterwards, Mr.? Okay, we'll provide that to you after this. We have it all.
Topic of youth violence, there were 2 teenage girls who were shot. Do we know any more information about that? It kind of goes into the conversation that's been happening for a few weeks about reopening the youth detention center. Is there any information that you thought about that?
So the question was about 2 teenagers that were recently shot. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that particular case, but I can tell you when it comes to the youth detention center, we are collaborating right now. That is a state project. So if you drive by the youth detention center, you'll see the construction has begun on that project. They are actively working every day to get that reopened as quickly as possible. We stay in close contact with the governor and his administration that are working on that project and with that who will operate it when it reopens. And I know they want to get it open as quickly as possible as well.
For Ashley on the pivot to peace.
You want to come up, Ashley?
Well, gun violence is down 60% in those 4 neighborhoods you're targeting.
Yes, correct. And that's Algonquin, Taylorberry, Newburgh, and Russell.
You're attributing that to pivot to the peace?
I'm attributing that to multiple things, but it is absolutely not a coincidence that the Pivot to Peace model is showing significantly higher reductions in the areas that we have that program.
Examples of what's being done in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have credible messengers that are embedded inside of those communities. And credible messengers, as stated before, are those that are either from the neighborhood, have lived experience, or have previous justice involvement themselves. They are so embedded in the community that they develop relationships. They know the ins and outs of what are taking place inside of those neighborhoods. And because of that, they have the ability to resolve conflict before it escalates. They also have the ability to connect one-on-one with high-risk individuals and get them connected with our outreach, which offers a long-term, more intense case management. And then in other circumstances, they have the ability to connect them to resources, which could be anything from training, jobs, getting an ID, other resources that are necessary. You're welcome.
Okay, Ashley, if you want to stay here. Okay. I'll also mention, just to Paul's also, okay, come on up, Ashley, is that we also are working on, the LMPD also has an initiative called SFI, Sustained Focus Intervention. And what that is that goes well beyond policing to also complement some of the programs that Ashley was just talking about. For example, last week I was out with one of our crews that in the areas where we're also targeting, where there's heavier amounts of violence, we're paying extra effort to make sure that all the vacant lots are mowed and cleaned, that the sidewalks are clear, that the alleys are clear. It's an all-of-government approach, removing graffiti, clearing alleys, doing everything we can to improve the quality of the neighborhoods. There's a correlation between improving the quality of neighborhoods and reducing violent crime. And so we're focusing on some of those higher crime areas as well. We're seeing positive results there, and that's going to continue. Yes.
Describe the logistic difficulty of finding those important messengers to really mitigate any escalations before they happen.
So we partner with Goodwill, and Goodwill handles all of the hiring. They are a second chance employer and are extremely intentional at ensuring that the people that will be out in neighborhoods are representative of those that they are serving. But we do not do the hiring at OVP. That is handled through our partnership. Those 4 specific neighborhoods, with the exception of one that is funded through a federal grant, were determined based on crime data. But again, these were lifted some time ago. So as we are lifting our 5th site, that is going to be in the California neighborhood, but it's based completely off of data. And that's one of the reasons why we're emphasizing the importance of data in driving the programs.
For instance, downtown?
Our hope is that we continue to expand programs as they are working, which is why we're ensuring that people are educated about what we are doing and the results, because as you can see, these programs are working. And when we have these services in the neighborhoods that have a need, again, it's working. So the goal, yes, is always to expand programs that are showing results.
Any other topics? 1 or 2 more questions?
Report.
Is it on OVP's website? Yeah. So you can find the report on Office of Violence Prevention's website, which you can reach through LouisvilleKY.gov, or you have that's the best way, through LouisvilleKY.gov, but on Office of Violence Prevention website. Anything else? All right. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you all very much.